Hello folks, I'm Tenmogi and I'm back with a follow-up to my Poison Chaos Zoomancer build. I decided to change the name since the Mancer part of the build is adjusted to play a more supportive role. Since the build relies more on the sheer number of undead minions, let's call it the Poison Chaos Undead Army. I will start this video by showcasing its map clearing and endgame bossing run. My Necromancer is currently at around 160 million DPS. Give about 10 to 20 million due to half of building not being able to calculate Baranite Preacher and Phantasm DPS accurately. But that number is based on the ability to accumulate and cast VAAL skills. Without VAAL Skellies and VAAL Haste, total DPS would be roughly around 120 with an additional 10 to 20 million from Baranite and Phantasm. Afterward, I will discuss how to adjust the build to reach that 300 million DPS mark. One of the great things about this build is the versatility. As you can see, one of the expedition mod are chaos immune, but due to the damage of my minions from multiple sources, it can take on pretty much any map mods, albeit at a slower rate when chaos damage is removed. Out of all the endgame bosses, SIRUS was the most annoying, mainly because he won't stop using his black hole ability, which make him invulnerable. Once he chill out with spamming that thing, it took about 5 seconds for him to go down.
returned tenfold. Space aligns. Behold
I will have what I want. There will not be an escape. Scurry, scurry.
resistance will be punished. Time contorts. Scurry, scurry.
My irritation is growing. Death will not be escaped. Scurry, scurry. Do what I say.
Stop resisting. Reality bends. Punishment inescapable.
Arrogant toy. There will not be an escape. Scurry, scurry. Stand still.
The living toy must enjoy our contests, for it continues to play. You and I should do this again soon.
Energize the spheres. Be gone.
Your absurd defiance ends here, hatchling. You do not have the strength, hatchling. Your absurd defiance ends here, hatchling. Disintegration. Cleansing. Incineration.
We kinda lucked out with the SIRUS itself. Both the regular and Uber version didn't go into its invulnerable phase while recording, so it was a lot smoother. It also gave you a better idea of how much overall time is needed to kill him. Okay, let's talk about the build. This is my imported character build directly from the game. I'm currently sitting at 168 million DPS. This include with VAAL skills. And you can add about 10 to 15 million DPS onto it. That is because Baranite Preacher and Summon Phantasm DPS isn't calculated correctly in Path of Building, or at least I can't figure out how to get it to work correctly. And here's the final build. With the most ideal item setup, you get 138 million DPS. with about an additional 10 to 15 million from the Baranite Preacher and Summon Phantasm. So why is there such a big discrepancy between my build and the final build? Well, item does come into play a little bit, but the main reason is because my Animated Guardian is currently being equipped with just Learcast and the Replica Victorio Charity Laminated Kite Shield. So it's on the cheaper end. So let's say if I am to replace this with Crown of the Tyrant and Kingmaker, then that will push my DPS to about 200 million. And if I were to change my skill tree, remove that, bring that down, and get the critical node, that will bring it to 221 million, almost 222, which is very close to the final setup. Next, we will talk about the equipment. This build will rely heavily on two items, the Covenant Spider Silk Robe and the Severe and Sleep Cutlass. Ideally, you would want +2 duration gems and +2 minion gems on the Covenant. This can be a tad pricey. And for your Cutlass, gain Onslaught on Q. The 6 skill links to your body armor should be Summon Raging Spirit, VAAL Summon Skeleton, Multi-Strike, Minion Damage, Unleash, and VAAL Toxin. The reason we don't use Unbound Element is because post 100 million DPS, Unbound Element become ineffective due to poison damage cap at 35 million DPS. The 3 link for Severe and Sleep Cutlass will be Generosity for Envy Aura buff, Convocation, and Flame Dash. The second hand item should be a rare Spirit Shield with +1 to all Intelligence skill gem, increased minion damage, and increased minion crit with max life and resistance. Skill links to be Desecrate, Tempest Shield, and Summon Skitterbots. This item can be replaced with a more defensive shield if you prefer survivability, although the trade-off would be 15 to 20% of your overall DPS. The helmet should be a bone helmet with +2 to all minion skill gems, level 25 minion damage and hypothermia to socketed gems, and +1 max to skellies and zombies. The 4 links should be Summon Carrying Golem, Raise Zombies, along with Multi-Strike and VAAL Toxin. This is possibly the most expensive item on the list. This helmet can go anywhere from 400 Divine Orb to a mirror. You can settle for level 20 minion damage and hypothermia if you don't want to waste too much resource. After all, carrying golems and zombies make up for less than 15% of your DPS. The gloves should be a silk gloves with socketed gem support by level 20 faster projectiles, faster casting, and chance to poison support. 4 links gem to be Raise Spectres, Spell Echo, minion damage, and Summon Phantasm. You will need at least 1 white socket to be able to switch out minion damage for GMP for mapping. This piece of equipment makes a majority of your mapping work and will allow you to speedrun most map without any difficulty. The innate faster projectile in the gloves will also make the Baranite Preacher and Phantasm to clear much smoother, especially the Phantasm. There is something very aesthetically pleasing about their attack looking like rapid fire laser beam. The boots should be a rare boots with dexterity, resistance, max life, movement speed, and increased duration support. 4 links to be VAAL Haste, Flesh or Bone Offering, Phase Run, and Molten Shell. Ring to be Hungry Loop for Animated Guardian, and Profane Proxy with Despair for Skitterbots to auto curse. You can try to cast this yourself if you want a more defensive oriented ring, but I wouldn't. There are just so many minion skills to keep track of as is. Having Despair to be auto curse is a needed quality of life. The last 2 items would be the Darkness and Throne Stygian Vice, hope I pronounced that correctly, and the Ashes of Stars Onyx Amulet, typical items for Summoner. Moving on to your jewels. Larger cluster jewels should have Call to Slaughter, Renew, and Vicious Bite. Raise and Pillage would give similar DPS boost as Vicious Bite, but it will take away the prefix for max life. Medium jewels should have Blessed Rebirth and Life from Death. The rest of the jewel socket should include max life, increased damage if recently used in minion skills, minion chance to poison, and added chaos damage to minions. You can throw in a few minion have increased attack speed in there once you have a good amount of chance to poison percentage. Last setup is typical summoner build. One that I personally really like is the Soul Ripper. Faster VAAL souls collecting equal more big damage. On to Animated Guardian. Your endgame AG setup should have Crown of the Tyrant and Kingmaker as its core item. Something very tanky for the armor, and its boot should be between Windscream or Legacy of Fury. Legacy of Fury is better overall option, but if you want a little bit boost in DPS or a more defensive secondary curse, Windscream and a glove with curse on hit will do. Just note that AG curse will require it to actually hit the target for the curse to apply, so it's basically only useful for bossing. For everyday activity, Legacy of Fury would be the better options. Also, for some reason I can't seem to get the curse on hit to show up correctly on the overall DPS in POB. I had to manually add another curse for it to show up on the numbers. If someone can tell me why this is or a fix would be great. Now on to spectres. The main reason I use Baranite Preacher is because they synergize very well with Phantasm. Every link that support Phantasm also support Baranite. Not only that, but their lightning bomb hit multiple times per second, allowing you to cap withering almost instantaneously. This doesn't matter that much during boss fight, but for mapping, fast capping of withering just make map clearing a lot smoother. I also have one Arena Master in there for that 20% speed buff, which is kinda nice. But let's say you're done with the Atlas and you are focusing on endgame bosses, or if you just want to dish out the most damage possible. Switching out the 3 Baranite for Peril Seraphim, Host Chieftain, and Carnage Chieftain will boost your damage well over 300 million. This will also allow you to switch out your glove for something more defensive. Not something I care about, but it's an option. Just keep in mind without Baranite and Phantasm, you will be switching over to a more active playstyle compared to the speedrun simulator that was before. At the end of the build, you should potentially be walking around with 4 Spectres, 11 Skellies, 10 Zombies, 11 Phantasm, 2 Skitterbots, 2 Golems, 45 VAAL Skellies, 25 Summoned Raging Spirits, and 1 Animated Guardian, totaling 111 minions at roughly 320 million DPS. But in situations where VAAL souls cannot be collected or not collected quick enough, such as during Uber boss fight, the DPS would drop to roughly about 210 million DPS, which is still a pretty respectable numbers. Do I die if the mob breathe on me? Absolutely. But hey, it's the choices we make for big damage. And you could definitely modifying it to be more tanky out by trading in some of those DPS numbers. In any case, I very much enjoy this build and I hope you do too. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. And subscribe if you find this video helpful. I'm done for now and I hope you all live long and prosper. Ta-ta.